Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning. How is everyone doing today? Another fine Wednesday of we've got some pullback market action so far. I'll go through what I'm watching. Commodities up, stocks. Well, this title says stocks down. It's really the stock index. Futures are down because the stocks aren't open here yet, but the European stocks also look like the little pullback. Good morning. Good morning, Davey. Shorty today. Well, let's go over my levels. Morning, Jake. Good morning, Wavy. Welcome, 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 everybody on Share Vision watching it live. So, by the way, if you are new here, please do consider subscribing to the channel, ringing the bell, and hitting the like button. Longer term viewers, leave some comments and like the video. So, where do we stand now? Yeah, it's Turnaround Wednesday. They skipped. It was Turbo Tuesday yesterday. I mean, come on. We got Turbo Tuesday yesterday. Now it's just Wacky Wednesday. Good morning, Chris. Good morning. Good morning, Sterling. So let's take a look at the charts. Let me switch my cameras. There we go. Good morning on it. How are you today? All right, let's take a look. A little pullback so far, just dropping out of overbought conditions. Watching for this rollover movement, focusing on the daily because remember we have the flat 200 resistance broken. So I'm going to see how far this pullback actually goes. 46.67 is that key area. Now remember that's an area, so we have to fine tune it. And on here, we roughly have 46.50, 46.52. That's what I'm really watching. This prior whole area, somewhere in here between the tops and the major candle bodies with the rising 4-hour rotation zone, is where I am focused to see if that pullback level holds. Longer term, we're starting to get some larger sell setups that may put in place. So we could easily see another rotation back up, even a slight push higher again before those do trigger. But I am monitoring that. But it's really key to see where we pull back to on this little move. On a rally, I'm keeping an eye on, we got the first cross the rotation zone. That's going to be my short-term level. But let's say we rally into the open. Longer term, I'm just seeing, I'm really going to be focused. If we do get above there, that 50% of this little sell-off move, we get above there, it's a 62.5, then I start watching for a retest of those highs. So that's the little short-term plays I'm keeping an eye on right here. Remember, we were going into a clear path move, so I'm still watching. We're not quite down there all the way yet, so I would not be surprised to see possibly a little bounce and then a rollover play into the open. In retest this 200 as a magnet, a lot of people will be keying off that to watch to see how that holds. So next higher levels still in place. The key areas is 45.43 to about 45.57, 45.43 on a closing basis. But we're coming up to those prior major tops in February, at the beginning of February before this sell-off again. If we did break down even further, if we did start triggering a bigger pullback, especially if we get below the 200 and then below around this 44.57 area again, I'm watching for the bigger pullback. And it's a good point to come into taking a look at what's going on today. We already had the mortgage information out. Powell, again, was speaking. So not much I saw coming across the newswire. New home sales, again, people are talking about the affordability index and mortgage rates. You can see up here, up to 4.5, which is the highest it's been in quite a while. Really, with the price increase on homes and that mortgage rate spiking up, going to put some longer term pressure on home sales. And then daily is speaking at 10:45 this morning. FOMC up to about 33% of a 25 basis hike, and really down to 33% of a 25 basis hike, but 66% of a 50 basis hike. And just remember, your gamma flip is around that 44.87. Right now, we are in positive gamma territory. So that is dampening, but 44.87 is where if we really start getting acceleration below the 200, now I'm not just talking today, that also is in negative gamma territory. So right now we even have a dampening effect on a run down to that 200. It gets, that close, into that neutral gamma territory. But up here, we have that dampening effect. So let's see, Nasdaq. Again, slight pullback, virtually the same stuff I'm watching in the Nasdaq. Key little support 14,471, and then major support I'm watching is about a 14,375. Again, we have a lot of support coming in here, so that's going to be key. It's really got to chew through a lot of price action and get below this 14,250 to really start getting to a bigger pullback level. So there again, key resistance, same thing, first cross of the rotation zone. And I'm on this little recent down move coming out of the European Open. Again, minor. If we do get above that rotation zone, I'm watching this 14,600, then I'm 14,617, 14,617. I'm shifting back to the long side for a retest of the highs. Longer term, if it did break down more, about 14,250 is the key level with the rising daily rotation zone and this prior major resistance becoming support. Remember, focus more so on the candle bodies than the spike wicks because they don't really line up. And you see key closes and opens all in that area with that rotation zone, and the 25% harmonic from the pullback would be if we did break down longer. For the bearish case, you really needed to get through all this with some acceleration into further move down, but I don't think that's going to happen today. Dow, also slight little pullback, same patterns. Dow, I think we can break easily below the 4-hour rotation zone. I'm focusing on about 34,350. 34,350 to the downside, and to the upside again. If we do rally, that right there into the 1-hour rotation zone with, just recapping again, that 50% level, 34,657, flipped along 34,686 area. Russell, very minor pullback on the Russell so far. Basing right here, I'm watching still. If we do turn around, not necessarily today, still for a little breakout play to the upside. Key support coming in at the Russell at, again, this 2052 level. Rotation zone and hooking up 50. And prior resistance becoming support, so that's going to be key. Broke above it, tested intraday, so even if we could see a retest of intraday, but that's your key level there. The DAX, slight pullback, flat rotation zone, but 14,200 is the key support. If we did break below that, 14,000 to about 14,033 to the upside. Key resistance is coming in at the 50, about 14,632. Above there, not necessarily today, but then we have the major target area of about 14,836. Crude, so far got the rotation back up. We do have a potential double top. This is now a rotation play. Again, we don't have the long-term or the longer-term sell signal triggered yet. We have a potential sell signal, but this is why you wait for the signals to trigger, because could this easily push higher? Yeah, and on a breakout play today, we already have that rotation in the rotation zone. Trend line holding still. No close below the rotation zone. So this potential double is still a potential. This could be invalidated on the next push higher. My targets are 115.83 to about 116.50. That's my targets if we do continue a strong rally today. Gold, still caught in this little consolidation period. Not really gone anywhere in the last 5 days. Area I'm watching, breakout play to the upside about 950, breakdown play intraday with some momentum below 1925. Silver, just a wider range here. You see testing that first still target from the head and shoulders top. Silver is not a breakout play until it gets above 25.65. Breakdown play for me below 24.70, and then I watch for the bigger pullback. Notes, you see coming down. Now this yellow line, if you remember, is from this massive head and shoulders pattern. It now hit the second target. Even on a bounce longer term, I'm still watching her third target down at 119.15. So we still have long-term price action down, and you see that harmonic right there. We're getting a little short-term bounce off of it. At this point, if it turns into a lot larger term bounce, I mean, the market's slightly down. Bonds can be slightly up, but longer term, still watching for another rollover play. Key little resistance I'm watching today is about 123.07. 123.07. We're right in that 4-hour rotation zone. So I will keep watching it anywhere in here for a potential rollover play. Let's see what else. Welcome options 22. QQQ, please. This is a triple top in the 15, 30-minute charts. Looks like a quad on the 60-minute. Yes, just trying to understand how to herd. Can we still consider this a downside play short term? This is a very short-term downside play. Again, just look at the look at what I was talking about with the futures. So you're going to see, again, pre-market gap down. And your key support, though, is right at this 349. So, again, we could slam into this key support and the futures key support and still hold. So that's why it's a very limited at this time. And I'll be watching for the longer-term play on a push up. As I said, we're getting some potential longer-term sell signals that aren't in place yet. And this was just a minor topping pattern. So what I'd be watching on the Qs is 4-hour rotation zone in this little area, and that would be a quick pullback play. You'd really have to get some momentum accelerating below these areas to turn it into a longer-term play. And I just don't have it yet. We do have starting to get some divergences in here, running out of momentum, but there's no long-term signal yet that I have. Where else do we sit? Dollar index. Still double, not triggered on the closing basis and still in play. Keeping an eye on that. VIX just up very slightly. VIX, I'll be watching around this 25.10 area to see if we do run into some minor resistance up there, but still this isn't anything major yet. What else do we have? I know people want to look at Tesla. There could be if the Nasdaq we get that bounce into the open, there could be a little quick gap play on here. A little quick gap play, still holding above that 1-hour rotation zone. Again, this is incredibly overbought, but that's why I'd be watching for it. A little quick gap play with the retracement harmonics. Keep in mind, if you do start breaking down, this is even the 15-minute chart, we have a major clear path move with not a lot of stopping points, and you could see if the Nasdaq does start a sell-off, you could see some kind of pretty rapid retracement, but there's no sign of that yet. That would have to be an intraday play. Good morning, Sashi. Let's see, Amit. Rewatched last night's market overview and the harmonics recap was money. Well, you're welcome. Again, sometimes these overviews are good for just learning things. Good morning again. Well, good morning, Lauren. What would a stronger dollar do to equity prices? I'm not really following a correlation there. It's more just money's flowing in here, still buying stuff up, but we're starting to get dollars in an interesting situation. Again, you have with what's gone on longer. I'm watching for more of a breakdown in the world markets with the dollar because of what's going on. Russia's talking, for gas prices due in the ruble now. Separate from that, we're talking about the petro yuan. I think we're going to see some interesting stuff at the dollar, and it's going to lose some correlation plays. I'm just watching it short term to see if it does continue breakdown. So far, it is holding up, and you still do have money flowing into the dollar longer term, and that generally does keep things propped up. Is a Tesla train unstoppable for the foreseeable future as long as we got the juicing going on again? If the juicing dries out, I'm expecting there to be some interesting news coming out shortly with Tesla, and you have all that SEC, you had their response to Elon's request for dismissal of his agreement he signed. They're going to fight that hard, and there's if you looked at the filing paperwork from that, there's other ongoing substantial investigations into him. So we shall see. But that could derail the Tesla trade. And again, longer term, I am bearish on a huge weekly basis, but you don't fight the momentum because Tesla is Tesla, especially with the option juicing and everything else going on. And also the mega cap plays. I went over yesterday with the mega cap plays. You want to watch something, here's our mega cap index. hitting that double target. So this is going to be interesting to watch for, see where it pulls back and holds. If it pulls back and holds, then we could theoretically still run it higher into the weekly rotation zone. It's that sort of at a critical juncture. You have this prior resistance area that we've run into. That's why everything I'm basing first off and foremost on the little area today with how much of the selling pressure it can get. That's key. By the way, value growth still has a little way to run up potentially into still shifting to the growth side. Not even necessarily today. We could get a pause, but this is what's key. Today's going to be very interesting to see if the bears can get any traction. And if they can't get any traction, we could see easily another push higher. So that's what I'm really watching for. And this is not a lot of traction. This is just, remember, even a couple days ago, on the 21st of March, Monday, bears couldn't get any major traction. This was just a distribution day, really. And, a slight little pullback. And then we had the massive rally yesterday. And now we've got the pullback. Could we see another distribution day against this key support? Sure. That's why I'm really going to be focused on that. Good morning, Lauren. So that's where I'm sitting with everything. The things I'm really focused on this morning are the potential crude still follow through play. Not much with the metals unless we really get that breakout or breakdown, and then watching for the support levels in the S&P and Nasdaq. And if they hold, there could be some potentially short-term minor long plays, but unless we get momentum bars, it will probably be choppier with a slight downward bias. Again, watch the little pullbacks. Watch for those key levels to get, if you get above that 62.5, then I could watch for a run to the highs, because this is a clear path move. You see very few stopping points, even on the 15-minute. You have very few stopping points. So if it does get a reversal move to the upside, it could, and you get above that 62.5 level, you could see a little run for the most recent highs, and then the pullback, this would be over again. And this key support would have held. With that, don't think there's much else to talk about. So I'm going to get prepped for the open. Hope everyone has a fantastic trading day. Again, if you're watching Tesla, there could be a potential gap play to the upside to fill that gap before a rollover. So I will be watching that straight off the open. With that, I will talk to everyone later. You are welcome, Options 22. You are welcome, Davey. You are welcome, Sterling. Everybody have a fantastic trading day, and I'll speak to all of you this afternoon for the market overview. Bye for now.